trucks, and that's all somehow compliant with the certification process. That suggests that the certification process needs a little more clarity and consistency. I understand the states aren't consistent on the weights, but the enforcement of whatever weights they have should be consistent, and I don't think we're there. But let's go to another issue. This could be done much better, and you, I believe, mentioned about needlessly interrupted trips and diversions, which would be with a weigh-in-motion, length-in-motion system. My state has one. It's called Green Light. In fact, the state actually provides transponders for free to the trucks. And it works very well. Truckers like it. The state likes it. And we can sample a large number of trucks without causing a lot of delay. But other states have privatized these systems, and they are not compatible. In fact, the private vendors prohibit some of their people from participating and or being, using the transponders from Green Light. Even though Green Light would allow it, they won't allow theirs to be used in Green Light. I mean, we do have an interstate and system, right? And we do want to have some consistency. So what are you doing to mandate interoperability between private vendors who are for-profit and states who aren't for-profit? Could you tell me how we're going to get there? Because it seems to me we need a mandate.
I may turn to Mr. Quaid on this. The systems you describe are part of the C-Vision system that the Federal Motor Carrier Administration has responsibility over. We are working jointly together on the Smart Roadside Initiative, which is working with individual states to try to have all states employ technology as a way to get more enforcement, more weighings of individual
trucks. Right, but do we have federal standards for interoperability? This is something I deal with, over here with the TSA and the Homeland Security Committee and these new for-profits. Since this administration is so obsessed with not having government regulate and do things that make sense and mandate things, and we want to put everything out to the private sector. So now we have states are going to the private sector. They're going to develop incompatible technology, so the trucker's going to have 47 units or 50 units and be flapping around inside the cab there trying to find the unit that works in that state because they got a private vendor that won't cooperate with the next door state private vendor, which won't cooperate with the next state which has a state system. What are we doing about having a federal interoperability mandate for these systems? I want to encourage them, but why aren't we having a federal mandate? Are you developing one?
Mr. Chairman, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration does administer the C-Vision program, the Commercial Vehicle Integration Systems Network, where we set architectural guidelines, operational concepts, and standards for states to deploy in implementing the C-Vision capabilities. And we are working toward having a national system that does that through the grant program that's provided by the
But I mean, do we have a mandate that says anybody who deploys this, it has to have either open source software or be interoperable with other systems? I mean, we need a federal standard. You're not going to get there by having private sector companies competing in different states and saying, oh, if we can get the California market, hell, we're not going to cooperate with anybody else. Maybe we can get the national market. I mean, how are we going to get there without a federal mandate?
We do not currently have a federal mandate, sir.
Are you anticipating a federal mandate? Do we need to make you have a federal mandate? I mean, how are we going to get there? It isn't going to work for the contiguous states of the United States of America in an integrated national system. This could save fuel, it can save time, it can save money, it can increase safety, and all we have to do is say, here's the standard. We don't care who provides it. It can be a private for-profit vendor, it can be a state, it can be anybody, but they all have to be able to intercommunicate. Doesn't that make sense?
Sir, as I said, we have architectural guidelines and
yeah, but do the architectural guidelines require interoperability?
I will have to get back to you on the answer to that question, sir.
Okay, that's kind of a critical question, because my understanding is they don't, and that we're developing incompatible systems. I live in an area where I live in the smaller city and didn't used to get along with the bigger city. And when they were first going to online data systems for their libraries. They went out of their way to make the systems incompatible because they didn't get along. And more enlightened people came along about 10 years and they said, this is really stupid. We can enhance the holdings and the access to the public and interlibrary loans if we have compatible systems. Same thing here. We can facilitate the movement of freight, save time, enhance safety, save fuel if we require that anybody, we don't care who it is, who develops a system, has to make it interoperable and meet a certain standard. That's plain and simple. And I hope when you investigate more, you'll find out the answer is yes. If it isn't, we're going to want to get to yes on that. So with that, I think I've exhausted my... One other quick question. How is, we had a president who once discussed the meaning